guys, Alex here and welcome back. Today I'd like to give you a little bit of an idea of some of the apps that I use whenever we travel. Most of these are going to be for us traveling internationally, but obviously, you know, some of the standbys we use all the time whenever we're traveling domestically as well. So I thought with the 4th of July coming up, the summer being in session, you know, a lot of people are going to be traveling, so it might be good just to get an idea of a couple apps to download if you haven't heard of them. So let's get into it. All right, so the first app that I use all the time, probably the most, and this doesn't really count in like the list of apps that I use because it's sort of a standby, obviously, is Google Maps or any sort of like Maps app. I use it mostly for walking places. You know, obviously I use it when we go on road trips and stuff, but specifically if we're in a new place, I will use it to get walking directions somewhere. And then, you know, it has the handy little, if you know, food nearby, shops and that sort of thing. So Google Maps is definitely a standby. The other one that isn't technically in the list, but I'll mention, is like an Uber or Lyft app. A lot of times we will use Uber instead of a taxi in places where it might not be, taxis might not be more readily available, or like when we were in Prague, we used Uber more because we heard that some of the taxi drivers can sort of swindle you if they can tell you're a tourist. Obviously we don't speak Czech, so that's probably a dead giveaway. So Uber was really good for us because then we didn't have to worry about any sort of language barrier and we knew what we were going to pay. Another like taxi app that I like to use is called My Taxi. Now it's only available in certain countries. I know that it's available in the UK and Ireland. We used it in Germany and it's really nice. It's basically like Uber except it's for like a yellow cab. So it's really nice in places that maybe Ubers aren't as accessible, or you're in like a surge fair, or it's just, you know, a time of day or night where or you're in an area where maybe there aren't as many Ubers around. So we thought that that was really helpful because whenever we got into Munich, when we got into Munich, there were like no Ubers anywhere. So we used this My Taxi app. We were able to pay through the app just like you do with Uber, because a lot of times taxis want to take cash. But we don't carry necessarily a ton of cash on us to pay for that sort of thing. So we could pay directly through the app and tip them and everything like that and give ratings and whatnot. So another one that I like to use is called Be Safe. Now this is good for women in particular if you're traveling alone, or, you know, guys also. But this is a really good app to where if you are wanting to connect with someone, let someone know where you are. Basically, you put in your location and you can link it with someone like a parent or a spouse or a loved one or friend, anybody, so they can see where you are. And then it also has a follow me selection, so then you are able to send somebody a message and say, hey, I'm leaving this location, this is where I'm going. You can actually fake call yourself. So I'll do it here, and you can schedule a fake call. And then you can accept it and say, oh, hey, Jim, yeah, sorry, I have to go, whoever it is that I'm talking to, sketchy person. And then it also has an I'm here section where you can tell people I've made it to the location that I'm at. It can give you a timer and it will trigger an alarm after a period of time if you haven't said, you know, I'm here. And you can also, there's an SOS feature to where if you're in like an emergency situation, it will automatically sound an alarm. But it's very, very good. It helped me feel secure whenever I was, you know, in a different country. When I was traveling by myself, it helped me give some peace of mind and you know, help my family members also know that I was safe. The next app that we use probably the most whenever we're traveling anywhere is called Visit a City. And this we use for creating travel itineraries and finding places that we want to go. Whenever you open the app, it gives you tours and stuff that you can do, like things to do, packages you can buy and whatnot. And then you can actually select a city and it will give you things to do, restaurants, sites, day trips from that location. And then we will just go in and select, okay, we're going to be in Paris for 3 days, and then it creates an itinerary for you. And then it also tells you how far away you are from each thing. So if we're going to the Eiffel Tower, it'll tell us how to get there from the Rodin Museum, and then it'll put, you know, where we can buy tickets if we want to go up into the Eiffel Tower, and then it'll tell you, you know, if you have something else scheduled, like a river cruise is what it shows on here. It will tell you the distance, like when you need to leave to get to that next location, and it allots time frames. So for a museum, it'll allot like 2.5 hours or whatever, but you can change that. It also gives you options for guided tours, and you can also adjust it by 1 day, 2 day, 3 day itineraries, things specifically for families, and then the extra like day trips, cruises, sightseeing, concerts. You can buy a lot of those things through the app. But then you can also create your own plan, which I don't have any set in here yet, but if you go in, you can create that. And then if there's something that isn't in your itinerary and you want to add it to it, you can click and add Notre Dame, and it will say select plan. You can click go, or you can click on it and it'll give you some information. There's little guides in here as well. You can go to it right now if you want. It gives you opening hours, closing hours, other things nearby. So this is really a standby app that we use all the time. And even if, like I said, you find something else that you want to do, you can add it to this, so you can sort of create your own custom itinerary. Maybe some things it only takes you, 15 minutes to see. You walk by a statue and say, oh, that's nice, and then, you're on with your day. That's typically what I find, because a lot of times it will automatically put an hour for a lot of attractions, and so, it'll give you a full day of things to do, and you're done by like 3 or 4 o'clock, and then you can go lay down or go to a cafe or what have you. So that's definitely another app that we use all the time, no matter where we're going. The next app that I like to use is called Fly Calmly. I am a nervous flyer, so this helps me with like turbulence expectations. So basically, if you look on here, you can put in your flight number. I don't have one, so I will choose a random flight. All right, so if we choose like Chicago to Las Vegas, it will give you down here how much of a chance of turbulence there is. So for me, that just sort of gives me some peace of mind to say, okay, this is probably going to be a pretty smooth flight. Or if you click another one, this Chicago or Pittsburgh to Chicago is a 35% chance of turbulence. And then it also tells you if it's going to be easy turbulence or if it's going to be pretty heavy. So that really helps me just to give me some peace of mind and ease my anxiety a little bit. If you're currently in turbulence, like when you're in the air, it also has a sensors app where you can turn it on, enable the sensors, and set it down, and it will tell you like the G-forces and things like that. I don't get into that. I just really want to know what my chance of turbulence is so that I can get my head in the right space. Another app that's on the list kind of is Yelp. I mean, pretty much everybody uses that, but especially when you're traveling, you don't really know where to go. It's good for finding places to eat, coffee shops nearby, and that sort of thing. So, I mean, not part of the official list because a ton of people use it, but yeah, Yelp is definitely a standby for us. The last app that is pretty vital whenever we're traveling is WhatsApp. Again, pretty standard. Something that a lot of people don't know, or at least people that I'm immediately associated with didn't know, is that you can call through WhatsApp. So my family members, whenever we get back to the hotel, if I'm in a foreign country, I can call them on WhatsApp. We can easily text. I mean, we have iMessage, so it's pretty easy at this point to text back and forth. But for somebody that, if you're texting to, somebody that doesn't have iMessage, it's really nice to be able to send quick messages and photos and things like that. But calling, I think, has been the big thing for us because we didn't necessarily want to have to FaceTime every time we called, or I didn't want to have to. So being able to just call through WhatsApp or send a voice memo is very, very nice. And it helps save money too, as far as like minutes and data costs go. All right, so those are all the apps that that I use most of the time. Those are the big ones that we tend to use on a regular basis, but I'm curious, let me know if there are any apps that I didn't mention or ones that you think are really vital to you, that you use all the time whenever you travel. Maybe I don't know about them, but I thought that, you know, it would be good just to sort of share the ones that we use and get some good ideas from you guys as well. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.